10 Stoic ways to get rid of the weak version of yourself. You suffer more in imagination than in reality. But what if the person causing you the most suffering is the version of yourself you refuse to let go of? You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Each time you delay self-discipline, each time you surrender to impulse, each time you silence your inner voice, you feed the weaker version of yourself. That version is not a stranger. It lives within you, whispering excuses, coddling your ego, and standing between who you are and who you could become. The Stoics understood this timeless inner war. The question is, do you? In the age of constant distraction, external validation, and hyper-comfort, most people unknowingly strengthen their weakest qualities. They scroll endlessly while their goals collect dust. They avoid discomfort like poison. They speak of change but live in cycles. This is not a judgment. This is human nature left unchecked. The ancient Stoic philosophers, however, taught a radically different path. To them, life was a battleground where one must wrestle not with others, but with the self. The enemy? Laziness, self-pity, excess, fear, ego. Together, these form what we'll call the weak version of yourself, an identity built on comfort and avoidance rather than virtue and growth. To follow Stoic principles is to wage war against that version. It means choosing character over comfort, action over excuse, and virtue over vice. We'll dive deeply into 10 Stoic methods to strip away the weaker self and live with strength, wisdom, and inner peace. 1. Voluntary discomfort. Train before life trains you. Set aside now and then a number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" The weak self is addicted to comfort. It equates ease with happiness and luxury with success. But comfort, unexamined and unearned, is a silent killer. It dulls your instinct, softens your will, and makes adversity unbearable. Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort, fasting, sleeping on hard surfaces, walking barefoot, not as acts of masochism, but as preparation. When you expose yourself to minor hardships intentionally, you train the mind to remain calm under real stress. Fast intermittently to break the illusion that hunger is an emergency. Take cold showers to build mental toughness. Walk instead of drive when possible. Wake up before you have to. The weak self thrives in predictability. Stoic discomfort kills entitlement and reawakens resilience. When life hits, and it will, you won't crumble. You'll have already met pain and proven it powerless. 2. The dichotomy of control. Focus only on what's yours. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Your weak self obsesses over outcomes, how people perceive you, how the world treats you, what you gain. This leads to anxiety, frustration, and constant comparison. The Stoics divide all of life into 2 categories: what you can control and what you can't. Your thoughts, actions, and character, yours. The weather, the economy, other people's opinions, not yours. Don't seek praise, focus on effort. Stop blaming external factors, adjust your internal response. Before reacting, ask, is this in my control? If not, let it go. You drain your power by trying to control the uncontrollable. The Stoic self is unshakable because it roots its peace in actions, not outcomes. 3. Live by a code. Define, don't drift. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The weak self has no direction. It floats with moods, reacts instead of responds, and lets circumstance dictate character. The Stoic self lives by principle. Without a personal code, you become whatever the world pressures you to be. But with a code, a set of unwavering values, you act from clarity, not emotion. Write down 5 unbreakable rules. For example, I do not lie. I don't complain. I show up regardless of how I feel. Review this list daily. When faced with a decision, ask, does this align with my code? The weak self needs motivation. The Stoic self lives by identity. When your actions reflect your values, you become impervious to distraction and self-sabotage. 4. Use death as a motivator. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. The weak self assumes it has time. It procrastinates, avoids the hard conversation, and lives in illusion. Stoicism teaches memento mori. Remember you must die. This is not to create fear, but clarity. When you remember that life is short, you stop wasting it. Start the day asking, if this were my last week, how would I live it? Don't defer your dreams. Act on them. Speak your heart. Forgive. Let go. Nothing sobers the soul like death. The Stoic self doesn't waste time being petty, lazy, or fake. It lives now, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. 5. Emotional mastery. Observe, don't obey. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Marcus Aurelius. The weak self is a puppet of emotion. Anger makes it lash out. Anxiety makes it freeze. Desire makes it betray itself. Stoicism teaches emotional detachment, not to suppress feelings, but to observe them before acting. Pause before reacting. Breathe. Label the emotion. Ask, what would my higher self do right now? Journal your feelings to disarm them. Mastering emotion is the gateway to mastering life. The Stoic self feels deeply, but acts deliberately. The weak self is impulsive. Stoics are intentional. 6. Say no to vice. Pleasure isn't purpose. So long as you chase after your desires, you will never be free. Epictetus. The weak self craves escape. Through food, lust, status, addiction, entertainment. It lives for stimulation. But each indulgence trades your potential for temporary pleasure. Stoics saw pleasure as neutral, not evil but dangerous when unexamined. The problem isn't enjoyment, it's enslavement. Delay gratification regularly. Don't act on every craving. Remove habits that weaken you. Excessive screen time, unhealthy food, pornography. Ask, does this pleasure strengthen me or weaken me? Pleasure unchecked becomes dependence. The Stoic self enjoys life but is never owned by it. Master your cravings, or they will master you. 7. Choose responsibility over blame. A man is as miserable as he thinks he is. Seneca. The weak self blames the world. They didn't support me. It's not fair. Life is hard. But Stoicism rejects victimhood. No matter how cruel the world may be, your power lies in how you respond to it. Take full ownership of your results no matter the circumstance. Replace why me with what now. Stop explaining your failures. Learn from them. Responsibility is power. The more you blame, the more powerless you feel. The Stoic self builds solutions. The weak self builds stories. 8. Become an eternal student. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Epictetus. The weak self is arrogant, always defending itself, never growing. It fears correction. Stoicism values humility, a willingness to admit ignorance, to seek wisdom constantly. Read daily, especially philosophy and biography. Ask questions instead of pretending to know. Surround yourself with people who challenge you. Humility opens doors, arrogance shuts them. The Stoic self evolves every day. The weak self stays the same because change threatens its ego. 9. Practice negative visualization. He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. Seneca. The weak self is fragile because it's always shocked by adversity. Stoics used premeditatio malorum, the practice of imagining the worst, not as pessimism, but preparation. By rehearsing hardship, you diminish its power. Visualize failure, loss, criticism. Ask, what would I do? How would I respond with strength? Don't fear obstacles. Forecast them. When you expect adversity, you don't crumble, you execute. The Stoic self isn't optimistic or pessimistic, it's prepared. 10. Daily reflection and self-examination. The life unexamined is not worth living. The weak self moves mindlessly. It repeats days like they're infinite. Stoics reflected every night. They asked themselves what went well, what didn't, and what needed improvement. This practice turns experience into wisdom. Keep a journal every night. Write, what did I do well today? Where did I slip? How can I improve tomorrow? Study your behavior like a scientist, not a critic. Practice delayed gratification. The weak self wants pleasure now, quick rewards, immediate comfort, instant validation. The Stoic self is guided by purpose, not pleasure. It delays gratification for higher goals. Train yourself. Wait before indulging impulses. Choose long-term gain over short-term comfort. Practice moderation in everything. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Surround yourself with strength. The weak self is easily influenced. It mirrors the energy of its environment. If you surround yourself with complainers, cowards, and flatterers, you will absorb their weaknesses. The Stoic self seeks relationships that elevate, challenge, and hold it accountable. Ask yourself, do my friends call me to a higher standard? Do I feel drained or inspired after conversations? Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving. Craft your code. Write 3 to 5 principles that define how you want to live, e.g., I act with integrity even when no one is watching. Return to them when tempted by weakness. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Burn the weaker self, daily. Awareness is the first step to mastery. The Stoic self is self-aware, always evolving. The weak self sleeps through life. Live by a personal code. The weak self lives reactively, guided by emotion and convenience. The Stoic self lives by principle. It defines its core values and makes decisions from them, not from mood or pressure. Destroying the weak self is a daily battle. Getting rid of the weak version of yourself is not about perfection, it's about progress. Stoicism does not promise a life free of hardship. It offers tools to face hardship with honor, courage, and clarity. You will be tested, you will falter, and that's part of the path. The weak self will whisper excuses, self-pity, and fear, but now you know its voice. You can meet it with discipline, truth, and the Stoic strength that lies within you. Let every action be a vote for the person you are becoming. The stronger you awaits, on the other side of discomfort, silence, discipline, and deliberate choice. First, tell yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. The weaker version of you will not die in a single act. It must be outgrown each day, burned away through choice, discipline, and principle. The Stoic way is not a weekend project. It's a life's work. You don't become strong by accident. You become strong by principle, by showing up, by enduring discomfort, by turning inward when the world screams outward, by choosing virtue over feeling, peace over praise, depth over distraction. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule an empire with ease. He ruled with discipline. Seneca didn't find peace in wealth. He found it in wisdom. Epictetus didn't teach freedom from a throne. He taught it from slavery. So what's your excuse? You already have what you need. A mind capable of reason, a body capable of action, and a heart that can endure more than it knows. Kill the weak self, not with cruelty, but with clarity. And in its place, build something unbreakable. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for your time.